welcome to another episode of Earning the Hate. Holy shit. How you going, people? Here we go. Little Earning the Hate. How many times does this have to happen before people realize this isn't an isolated incident? This isn't the case of just one bad apple that slipped through the system. This isn't the case of we're full of really good people with high standards, but these isolated incidents keep happening every day across the country. It's like saying black crime is an isolated incident. We know that's not true. The FBI stats say it's not true. Any crime, let's say any crime, is an isolated incident. We had a traffic accident today. It was an isolated incident. It's not isolated. It happens every day. Cops are out of freaking control. I want you to keep an eye on this quota hire standard here. Later on, when we get to this part of the video, she's standing around just watching, like usual. Now, a lot of people will be like, well, Rick, that's good because she shouldn't. She's not in there because she's not got the same mindset of these guys. She's in there because she always lets the guys do the work and she stands around and she wants to get a paycheck. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Somebody's going to try and make her out to be a hero, I guarantee you. And you know what? She didn't try to stop it. She didn't grab anybody and go, hey, knock it off. Hey, calm down. You don't see her in there protecting the poor guy that's in handcuffs, but people will somehow try to make her a hero because she didn't join in with her blue line thugs. Out freaking rageous. All right, I haven't even watched the whole video because when I got to this part, I was just like, are you freaking kidding me? So, 5 cops are being charged. This is from WPLG 10, whatever. Used on a Fair Use Act education.
Attorney's office where that announcement is about to be made.
Story up behind.
All right, so I've watched this part so I can bump through.
All right, good afternoon, everyone.
Who thinks this woman unwinds every night and every day at lunch and maybe every morning with a couple of drinks just to take the edge off? All right. Rick, you can't say that? Okay, well, I just did.
We're here today as a result of what transpired at the Royal Palm Hotel on Miami Beach last week. I do believe that body-worn cameras are an important part of policing, and as you know, I advocated from the...
Okay, so let's take at least a look at that. I'm not defending government, and I'm not saying government is transparent, and I'm not saying we should trust government. However, government is at least some part of government in some places every once in a while, maybe if and buts and coconuts, they will at least make a video like this and show it. It used to be everybody protected the blue line. We can't show this because it'll bring heat. We can't let the public know this because they'll think we're incompetent. We can't let the public see the bad side of government. Now, government doesn't do that in any other place but cops. I'm not defending cops. I'm just telling you, cops are the bastards of society and they always take the most heat and they're always blamed. However, they are the most powerful people in society because they run around with a gun and they can take your life and they can search your house and they can put you in jail and they can fabricate evidence and they can steal and they can do a lot of things under the color of their job. So they need a lot of scrutiny. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying if you think that the cops are the only problem, then you don't have a freaking clue.
Very beginning, along with the former chief of Miami Beach Police Department for their county-wide usage case, as has already July 26, 24-year-old Dalonta Crudup allegedly had an interaction with a Miami Beach bicycle police officer.
Had an interaction. That's kind for he ran him over with his motor scooter and caused the guy to have injuries and go to the hospital. But we'll just call it an interaction because we don't want to have burn, loot, murder, burn down our city.
Which left the bicycle officer with leg injuries requiring hospitalization and crutches.
So you hit a guy, you cause injuries, and you flee the scene. Okay? That's a felony, people, when you flee a scene of an accident and you cause injuries. That's a higher crime in society because you're committing damage and the likelihood of you repeating it or getting away with it, etc. That's why they went after this guy. Now, they don't want to make this poor guy sound like a crooked piece of crap felon out there running around killing people or trying to kill people or could have killed people and ran away, they want to just make him the poor victim. Now, I got to admit, he is a victim of government. However, he ain't an innocent victim.
Mr. Crudup allegedly fled the scene on a scooter, rushing to the Royal Palm Hotel where he was staying. Police
Guy's staying at the Royal Palms Hotel. How bad could it be?
Lieutenant Jose Reina followed him into the hotel, catching up to Mr. Crudup at the hotel elevator and holds him at gunpoint. This will be clearly shown in the video. Elevator with his hands raised and drops down to the ground with his arms outstretched.
This is the most offensive part of the entire video. Remember, I tell you, what's the purpose of not running? Because when you run, you might get away. And usually your running is a lower crime than what you're running from. If I go out and I kill 14 people and I run for the police, do you think I'm worried about a resisting arrest or fleeing the police charge, which is usually a misdemeanor? Of course not. I'm running because I don't want to get charged with the 15 people I killed. So obviously the running is not a big deal. But the reason people run now is it doesn't matter if you give up. The cops are going to beat your ass anyway. Even though I don't think that's true why most people run. I think most people run because there's a chance they'll get away. And it's a whole lot less charge, running than it is what you're running from. So, but I don't think cops ought to be bringing street justice and beating your ass for running. Look, I always said, criminals' jobs to get away, cops' jobs to catch them, do it within the law, and, we both do our jobs. Whatever.
In front of him. He then places his hands behind his back.
Okay. When you're at war, and when the enemy gives up, and you kill or torture them, you incite the enemy to fight harder, and you give them no incentive to give up, so they will fight to the death, because they know you're going to kill them anyway. This is the point that we are at with police. You're going to beat my ass anyway. I might as well shoot, stab, kill you, be against you, fight you on the front, instead of just waiting around for you to come around and beat my ass and kill me anyway. That is where we're moving, people. Our government is tyrannical and cops are not being held accountable. Well, Rick, they just said they're charging these guys, so they are being held accountable. It is not consistent. This is a black victim again. They aren't charging people when the cops do this to white victims. I'm not saying white victims deserve special treatment. I'm saying government needs to be held accountable across the board. It shouldn't matter the color of the victim. What should matter is government complying or not complying with the law. And they're not. And they charge sporadically when it's politically convenient, like this case where a black man got beat up and they don't want their city burnt down.
As Lieutenant Rainey kneels to apparently begin placing Mr. Crudup in handcuffs, other Miami Beach police officers arrive on
the mob, the blue gang. They came in and destroyed this dude. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump forward to, because she just kind of goes over everything and she'll explain it again during the video. She thanks everybody for standing behind her. Everybody's a great guy, blah, 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 blah. And here's where the video starts. Here's our poor victim who had the interaction with the officer that he put in the hospital, and he's running from this interaction.
You'll see Mr. Crudup getting to the elevator. You'll see Lieutenant Jose Reina, who...
Lieutenant! Damn! Lieutenant out there chasing and drawing a gun. You go, boy. I like this guy. At least this lieutenant ain't being a pussy, okay? But here's where it gets bad, people. I mean, it gets bad.
Follows Mr. Crudup into the hotel, catching up to him.
So there'll be a lot of people, why did he pull a gun? You're chasing a fleeing felon. You don't know if he's armed. You're by yourself. You're not in uniform. He may pull out a gun, a knife. He may have friends. Having his gun out is, I mean, look, I tell you all the time, man, most times when I chase somebody or when a cop's smart, if they're chasing somebody, their gun's out. You don't want to be behind a power curve and show up at a gunfight with your gun in a freaking holster. And since you don't get to pick whether it's going to be a gunfight or not, the suspect does, you ought to have your freaking gun out.
Him at the hotel elevator.
Guy gives up, goes on the ground. The cop doesn't have to use any force, minimum force necessary. Now, some people will say pulling his gun was too much force. It was excessive force. It was assault with a deadly weapon. He shouldn't have pointed his gun. I'm not with you there. I'm okay with this guy. Matter of fact, I think the gun probably stopped this guy from resisting and made him go into custody easier.
He holds him.
Puts his hand behind his back. No resistance whatsoever. People, this is what the Japanese used to do when we would give up. They would torture us and beat us and hit us in the head and break. I mean, the Japanese were brutal to their prisoners. They were known as a very, very brutal. In other wars, people are brutal. And you know what? During a revolution, if I'm on one side or the other, I'm going to be brutal. If I'm in a war, I'm not into this fight fair and nice shit. But the problem is, the cops think they're at war with the people.
At gunpoint, Mr.
Second officer comes in, puts his gun up.
Crudup
Gets down on him, kneels on him to put him into custody. No problem. Perfect. Textbook. I'm okay with this.
his hands raised and he
Second officer there. Now we have 3 officers on one guy that's laying down with his hands behind his back. I'm good.
drops to the ground, and now his
Fourth
arms
officer.
are outstretched
5th officer.
in front of him.
So far, nobody's touching him. We have 6, 7, and 8th officer showing up.
He then places his hands.
We have the female showing up in the background behind the men, pushing the men, so she can say, I was there. I was there. I helped arrest him. I was there. We have a dude in shorts who's a bike cop that's pissed off because the bike cop is the one that got hit. So he's emotionally involved. This is where the lieutenant should have said, we got him. Nobody touched the suspect. He's in custody. That's an order. Back the fuck up. That's what the lieutenant should have done.
Behind his back as Lieutenant Rainey kneels.
Now we got the bike cop who gets in there and kneels down and wants to get in ahead. How many cops does it take to put the handcuffs on a guy laying on the ground? Well, according to Miami Beach Police, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
To apparently begin
13.
placing Mr. Crudup in handcuffs. Other
Female in the back, walking around, not doing nothing. Again, she didn't try to stop or protect the poor guy getting his ass beat, did she? She didn't become a hero to the poor suspect who was giving up, did she? I guarantee you they are going to try and make this woman a hero, and she's going to turn, she's going to say she saw something, or she saw so-and-so kick it, and they'll make her a witness, and then she'll be a hero for standing up against these guys. They're going to turn her because she didn't stop them, and they could charge her for that. And instead of charging her, they're going to say, well, you need to testify on our behalf. And then she's going to turn on a couple cops, and then she'll be a hero for standing up bravely against all these bad cops. It's all bullshit. This is a out-of-control, tyrannical government, unaccountable, limited immunity, DA's not charging issue. Period. This is not the guy's black issue, which everyone will try and make it.
Miami Beach police officers
This guy's such in a hurry to get here, he freaking trips.
arrive on the scene.
This guy gets thrown out of the pile. It's like somebody threw a donut in the middle and said, who wants a donut? And they tossed one donut in the middle of a bunch of cops. You have cops literally pushing other cops out. Watch this guy get pulled out. Get out of the way! You're not being aggressive enough. Let me get in here. Throws a cop to the ground to get in there. Out freaking outrageous, earning the hate. Quota hire doing what quota hires do. Just a complete perfect failure of the system. Black officers beating up black man, no problem. Oh, but Rick, maybe the black officer's trying to save him. Oh, bullshit. Ain't nobody trying to save this guy. They're all trying to get their licks. I mean, look at him. It's just like a feeding frenzy. It's like you chumming the lake with sharks and you throw a piece of fish in. This is the mentality. This is a culture. This is a, you know what? Nobody's going to hold us accountable. We can do one. This is street justice. You're going to hit one of us, we're going to teach you a lot. We are the judge, jury, and executioner. And if you make us unfair of our lives, we'll shoot you 30 times. And the courts will say it was justified. And the DA will say it was justified. And we will walk. And you can't sue us because we have limited immunity. Out freaking outrageous, people.
And if you could stop just there.
So this officer here is the one that kicks him.
If you could roll back just a little bit, George. I'm sorry.
Notice the highly
Trying to catch
empowered
it very,
officer
as you can see, it moves very
making the
slowly,
same
so
pay.
we're trying to. Okay,
Here's
you'll
where he gets
see
kicked in the
there,
head.
Officer Kevin Perez kicking Mr. Crudup. We believe, as I said earlier, we just didn't catch it for you, that
They're pulling the poor lieutenant up because he is in a feeding frenzy. They have to rescue their
we
own
believe, as I
lieutenant
said earlier, we just didn't
because
catch it
he's
for
getting
you,
knocked down and they have
that
to pull him out of the
handcuffs
feeding frenzy.
were already placed on him. We can hear it on another body-worn camera.
How many cops do we got here? This is what happens. But Rick, the Supreme Court or the Constitution says you can't have a standing army against the people. What the hell do you call this? One guy ran after he hit a cop. This ain't a standing army? This isn't too much government? When you have this many cops available for this call, what the hell are they doing when they're not doing that? I'll tell you what they're doing. They're out here harassing good people. They're out there writing tickets to a blue-haired lady who parked on the blue line in the handicap parking spot to get a $300 ticket. They're out there saying, oh, I got to protect the highway. I'm chasing you for speeding. They're out here doing stupid shit, harassing people because they can't be beating up somebody. Out freaking, I'm telling you, man, it's coming. People are getting fed up. And the government, when they start charging, they know people are getting fed up. That's the only reason they're charging. If people didn't care and there wouldn't be these guys out there filming and exposing this, government wouldn't care. But government's getting a clue that, you know what? A lot of people are starting to jump on this. It used to be just a few of the fringe people. Used to just be the cop haters. We know that. Used to just be the criminals that complain. Now, a lot of good people are saying, hey, this is freaking bullshit. Cops are out of control. And the government says, you know what? We better at least start charging every once in a while to confuse the pesky citizen that we really care and we're trying to do something. But they don't. And it's not consistent. And it's not enough.
Camera.
So this guy here, I think, gets tackled later for filming.
Then you'll see the video pairs.
Look at these freaking feeding frenzy cops. Look at these guys wanting to get in. This is a guy that laid down and put his hands behind his back and was laying there. Rick, you said if you lay down and put your hands behind your back, there's no excuse. There isn't. That's why this guy's going to freaking walk on the injuries and he's going to get a lot of money. He's going to walk because he did the right thing. Had he been like, fuck you guys, man, this is bullshit, fuck you, don't touch me, he wouldn't get near as much money. He wouldn't be as good position. This wouldn't be as good, clear cut that cops are out of control and you don't have to do something in order for them to freak out. They will beat your ass because they can and because they're not held accountable. This is not a training issue. The chiefs and police will come up and go, we're going to give our officers more training on escalation and de-escalation, and we're going to give our more officers on intervening, and we're going to give our officers stress training because this job is really stressing. They're all heroes, and this is what causes them to do this. Some of these officers might have just came from a dead baby call, and that's why they did this. There will be excuses out the ass on this.
To show Sergeant Jose Perez, and we're still with Kevin Perez. Go on to the next one.
We still have cops showing up.
Please. You see the slow motion replay there? Stop it right there, George. Can you see this? I don't know if you, it took me several times. Can you see that action right there? Is that visible to all of you? Yes? Okay, good.
The state's attorneys point out some good shit, and this is what they do when they're putting together a case. They want to get every officer kicking, and there's other angles of this. So now they've picked him up and they're throwing him on the ground. This is a guy that laid down and gave up, and now this is your heroes protecting and serving the shit out of people. These are the people that you hear, well, when you need somebody and you call 911, let's see who comes. I don't want you idiots coming. You guys are freaking out of control. You guys are not freaking working for the public. You're working for yourself and your power and your pensions and your inability to be sued. That's what you're working for. You are no longer part of the American people. It's freaking ridiculous.
Now what you'll see is about 15 seconds later, he is on the ground handcuffed. He's not really moving, but he is being held down. You saw the subsequent kick again by
Rick, what should you do? Somebody's going to ask, Rick, what would you do if you were there? I would grab this guy and push cops off of him and throw him against the wall behind me and stand in front of him and go, I got him. Nobody fucking touches him. He's my fucking prisoner. Chill the fuck out. That's exactly what I would have done. And this is just ridiculous. Cops are pussies now, and they act like pussies when they're in a mob and they're fighting a guy who's not fighting back, who doesn't have a weapon, who's not there in fear of their lives. They got power, they got numbers, they got guns, they got everything. This is bully behavior, people. This is just outrageous. Anybody there'll be cops defending this. Rick, you don't know how stressful it is, and he could have got away, and what happened if he would have pulled one of the officers' guns? He could have reached for one of their guns, and it's dangerous, and you just don't. You're a freaking idiot. I guarantee you there will be cops justifying this. It's outrageous.
Sergeant Perez. And then we'll keep moving with that. You'll see a head slam. I don't know if you can catch that there. See that right there? So Sergeant Perez had, who'd
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Rick, we need more police, and if we had more police, crime would be down, and if only cops had guns, we'd be safe, and the citizens should give up their guns, and we need more gun control, because 30,000 gun laws isn't enough, and if only the police had guns, we'd be safe. You're a freaking idiot. I mean, it's just crazy watching this, and still people are out there. Rick, it's a really tough job, and this is just an isolated incident, and there's only a few. Most cops are really good. There ain't no good cops here, people. Nobody is grabbing this dude and defending a dude that's handcuffed. And they're letting fucking bullies just attack him. That's pussy to me. That's not a freaking hero, you idiots.
kicked him had then, you'll see him come back around in just a second.
Still got people coming in. Look at this guy. He does a freaking Hollywood slide. He is running so fast and wants to get his hit in, he actually slides into the scene. Are you freaking kidding? Look at him. On him like a piece of meat. On him like a freaking somebody dropped a jelly-filled, sprinkled, maple-covered donut. That's how this guy comes in to get his freaking licks in on this guy. Out freaking rageous. Guess what? We have these three heroes making a wall so the pesky citizen can't film their buddies beating the shit out of somebody that's handcuffed. They're making a wall. They are targeting this guy for filming. He is now the bad guy for holding these heroes. Rick, it's the blue line, and we have to protect them. And who's going to come if you call 911? And we need... You're a freaking idiot. You do not need a tyrannical government coming like this. These guys are a disgrace, and they should be charged for interfering with this person's right and the ability. That ought to be the new freaking law of the books. No officer can interfere with any citizen filming any conduct between police and the citizenry, period. It's a misdemeanor or a felony if a cop uses his official capacity to interfere with a citizen filming them. That ought to be the new freaking law. That'll tell cops, knock this shit off. This is bullshit what they're doing. Still the freeding frenzy. We got more cops here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And there's probably somebody on the ground that we can't see. 19 or 20. Damn. I'm going to get to go home and say, yeah, we beat this guy's ass. He was in handcuffs and he gave up. And we gave him, man. There was a bunch of us, man. We got to dogpile him and kick his ass. And you know what? They ain't going to do shit to us. We're the police. We've been getting away with this, and we can shoot people, and we have limited immunity. They can't sue us. Fuck the pesky citizens. We'll show them. This is what they're thinking. Okay, so now we're going to target the guy with the camera. Look at these guys, just waiting to get on him. This guy too, this guy. Look at all the target glances from these guys like, oh, we got a new victim. We've already beat the shit out of this guy handcuffed. Here's another pesky citizen. Let's gang up and bully him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 members of the gang split up because the other 14 members had him handcuffed and were still beating his ass. Let's go get the guy with the camera. Out freaking rageous.
You see him down on the ground there. That's after the body slam.
Oh, another guy. Oh, look. More cops. Oh, there's another guy we can beat up. I can't wait to get over there. Let me run over there.
And then about 8 seconds later, while he's still on the ground, no longer moving again, it appears Sergeant Perez
Look at the feeding frenzy. Somebody threw more meat over there. This guy's running. There's not enough cops. There's only 9 or 10 over there. Let me get over there before they get finished. Maybe they're going to get the shootout. I don't want to miss it. Hang on. I'm coming. Hang on. After we beat the shit out of this guy,
you'll see
that was such a danger.
Watch.
We're going to bend his arm. We're going to tweak him. We're going to teach him some justice. We've already slammed. We already beat the shit out of him. We're going to leave out of 20 freaking cops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 of them standing around. Everyone else left for the guy with the camera. Because he's the big threat now.
There.
Out freaking outrageous, people.
Okay.
Look at that kick. Really?
There.
This guy's going to prison. And he should go to prison. What a freaking... And he's a sergeant! Are you kidding me? But Rick, he's promoted, and he was promoted because he's good. A freaking sergeant, dude. Kicked him in the head. Handcuffed. After all these cops beat him for all this time. Rick, you're making this worse because you're pointing out isolated incidents, and you're making people hate cops. Okay. You stick to that story, you freaking idiot. It's my fault this sergeant kicked a handcuffed dude. It's my fault. Out freaking outrageous.
Okay. Did you see that kick there? Okay.
I don't know if this guy says something, but he doesn't protect him. He doesn't show this guy off. He's a sergeant. You know what his excuse will be? Hey, he was a sergeant. I was going to report it later. I didn't want to intervene. You know what? When they start passing laws that when you see this and you don't do nothing, you're going to jail and you're getting charged, then maybe cops will stop this blue line bullshit that I can't turn in a bad cop. Until somebody's threatened to go to jail, they ain't turning in another cop, people.
And slow motion replay.
Out freaking outrageous.
So that's 3 times by Sergeant Officer Perez.
2 officers, and now this cop is like, okay, we've kind of beat this guy up enough. Let me get over to this dog pile because the guy with the camera, let's go kick his ass for filming us so we can break his camera, so we can destroy his video footage. This is obstruction. This is criminal acts that these guys are doing to this guy with the camera.
Perez. So for these actions, Miami Beach Police Sergeant Jose Perez is being charged today. We then
Good. He's getting charged. He should be charged.
And have Miami Beach Officer Kevin Perez, who's also, by the way, there's no relationship, as I understand it, right, Chief, between the 2 Perez's. This video appears to show at least 4 times.
A lot of Perez's are getting charged. I wonder when the race card will be played that they're picking on him because of, you know, you can only charge a white guy because he can't claim you're picking on him for anything.
Let's see. You see the back there? That's Officer. That's a different angle. These are body-worn cameras at this point. Then about 5.
Remember, this guy bleeding on the ground that got kicked in the head, laid down and put his hands behind his back, people. Why would anybody want to give up to these thugs if this is what's going to happen?
5 seconds later, we see Officer pick him up, and again, I think we've done this already.
Being a good witness.
Okay.
Good observer.
So now, does that conclude this part of the videos? Okay. So Levon. So I don't know if you saw it earlier. I failed to point it out to you. But you'll see that, according to the video, Mr. Caleb Vaughn seems to be a bystander in the hotel lobby, and he appears to be standing approximately 12 to 15 feet away from the apprehension of Mr. Crudup. And Mr. Vaughn appears to begin filming the scene with his, looks like his cell phone, at which point Officer Robert Sabater arrives on the scene approximately 30 seconds after Mr. Vaughn first began filming without incident. You're seeing, go back to that again, please. George, could you roll that back? Yeah. So you're seeing.
So this guy's holding a garbage bag, shorts and a shirt, no weapon, holding a camera. and the cops target him. Out freaking outrageous. Again, this is not a color issue, people. This is a out of control mindset, tyrannical government issue. It's not about color. If this dude was white filming him, he would have got the same thing. If he was Asian, he would have got the same thing. They're pissed off because a pesky citizen of any color would dare question their authority and film them in their illegal acts.
We think the officer's here saying back up, and you'll see him take about 4 steps back.
Backing away, no threat, no officer safety issue, not interfering. These cops that attack him, all criminal.
With his camera, now you see Officer Sabater running in and tackling him.
Look at the way he hits this guy.
There.
Dude's got a camera. This is assault under the color. This is aggravated assault. He bounces him into this pole on the ground. This is assault on the... This is when cops need to go to prison, and this shit will stop. Out freaking outrageous, people. Rick, this is an isolated incident. This is just a few bad cops. That we need more cops. Cops are quitting. It's a very hard job. They're all heroes. Shut up with your mantra of bullshit. This is not isolated. I have a whole playlist, and I've probably got 1/10, if not 1%, of what we don't know about. So don't tell me that this is an isolated incident and they need more training.
There.
Knocks his groceries down, destroys his property, attacks him, assaults him, and he can't defend himself or he'll get charged with a felony. That's a bully definition. I can beat the shit out of you and you can't hit me back, otherwise you go to prison. How's that for freaking fairness? So this is happening when you see all the cops leave the first guy they're beating the shit out of that's handcuffed, and they run to attack this guy. Out freaking outrageous.
Hold it right there. Now what you'll see is after he's tackled, this is actually, these are his shorts. Next, I'm sorry, but it's all we have. Now what you see there is a series of punches in the back rib cage area or kidney area, but it's on the back.
For filming the illegal government conducting their illegal acts, this is what you get. People go, man, it's rough in Russia. Really? This looks pretty rough here.
You see that there? So, because of those actions that you just saw, Miami Beach Police Officer Robert Sabater is being charged today. Now we have the body-worn camera video of Officer David Rivas reviewing. Nonetheless, approximately 12 seconds later, Officer, roll that back again, that's said in the ribcage area, actions. Miami Beach. Then have the body-worn camera video of Officer Steven Serrano. And it appears to show he's being, Officer Serrano repeatedly striking. So, let me just say, you can see that there. The different videos are the same thing, so that's why it seems repetitive. You see it right
Look at this mob attacking another guy for filming.
there? Can you roll that back, George, please? For a second. We're doing this from another room, so that's why. So, well timed as we would like it to be. So, let me just conclude by saying that the investigation into this incident, it is continuing. This was a week ago. And potentially other additional charges may be filed.
There ought to be a whole bunch more charges filed. Every damn cop that failed to protect the in custody person ought to be charged with something. That's bullshit. Out freaking outrageous. This is going on serious Earning the Hate. This might be up at the top 5 Earning the Hate videos. Rick, it's your fault that they hate the police because you show it. Yeah, okay. You keep to that story, you freaking idiots. We'll end that there. Out freaking outrageous.